Ooh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Late Night Live number 28. What up, Suvik? Welcome. Baze, yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. January 5th already. We're already 5 days into the new year. Holy moly, how time. This music might be a little intense today, but that's all right. I tell you, I have been busy the past couple days getting things ready for my class coming up, and this feels all kind of disheveled. It feels like it's been months since we've done capital comparisons, and we're diving back into that today. Oh, from the future, right? January 6th. Forgot about that. Well, we're almost finished January 5th, and it has been raining for a long time. It's raining hard today. I gotta run some errands tomorrow, and I'm really hoping that the rain decides to chill out a little bit, so I don't have to do them in the rain. It is torrential. It's not torrential. It's not that hardcore, but it is a lot of water out there. All right, well, I figured we should just dive right into this whole shindig comparing capitals business. As always, let me know if the music sounds okay volume-wise, if everything looks and sounds good, or if it doesn't, rather, let me know. I think we left off last time, which was 3 weeks ago? Wow, it's been almost a month since we've had a Late Night Live. 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Maybe just 2 weeks. No, because we did Christmas edition. Yeah, 3 weeks ago since we've done capitals. I think we ended on N, so we're going to pick up today with O. We're going to start with EW Blowsers. Before we get into that, actually, I should warm up, because I haven't done that yet. Just really quickly, it's kind of chilly in here tonight, so get the blood flowing and warm up my muscles a little bit. I haven't written with white ink since our last Late Night Live either, so fingers crossed my nib and my ink are all gonna participate, or not participate, are going to cooperate with me today. Happy New Year's, Aravind, welcome. Alright, let's just do some of these to get This music is a little punchy. It's got more of a beat to it than what I've kind of been listening to for the last lives. I can actually, this is a really good tempo for my for warm-up drills, which is great. Good evening, Mom. Welcome. What up, Blow 4443? Long-time listener, first-time caller. Call me Bilo. Oh, perfect. I should have read your message before before reading your name. Welcome, Bilo. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out and chatting with us. What up, Oja Swinny? I'm just doing some really quick warm-ups before we dive into our capitals. Oh, this song. Can I get back to that last song? Was it this one? I need to make a playlist for lives that is like good warm-up music. Oh no, other way. Here we go. That's probably enough warm-up, I guess, just to get everything loose and flowing. Your hand doesn't want to do clockwise ovals. Clockwise ovals or reverse ovals. It's funny. You always hear teachers, myself included, we have direct ovals and then indirect ovals. Most of the books, I don't know where I first got the term indirect oval. Because in the books that I've been reviewing and stuff while I'm prepping everything for my class, everything says direct oval and reverse oval, which is interesting because I've always said direct oval and indirect oval, which, indirect oval and reverse oval means the same thing. It's indirect/reverse. I just don't know. I don't know what teacher. I guess I heard that. It's not wrong. I'll probably keep saying it. But it's fascinating. I was going through just assuming the book would say indirect, but it says reverse instead of indirect. And I don't know where I got that from. But I have issues with my reverse ovals as well. Okay, if these movement drills are any indication of what our writing night's gonna be like tonight, I'm excited. They might not be. This might not be what the writing is going to be like, but so far my arm is feeling pretty good. I haven't done a ton of movement writing in the past few weeks over the holidays and whatnot. I've been doing a lot of slow writing, getting ready for my class, and just a lot of other stuff, and not a whole lot of writing practice. But everything feels pretty good, so let's dive into our capital letters, shall we? Yeah, everybody who just got in here, Happy New Year. Welcome to our first late night live of the new year. It's really awesome to have you guys here. Last Tuesday felt weird. I wasn't as busy as I thought I'd be, but I didn't really realize it was a Tuesday night until sort of pretty late in the evening. And it was weird doing a week where I wasn't working or doing anything anywhere and not doing a live. It felt interesting. Some water. Oh, I also have my tea, which I have this dope tea. I don't know if thermos is the right word. But this will keep my tea warmer longer so that I can afford to forget about it a little bit more than usual, because we know that's gonna happen. Alright, starting off here. We're gonna start with E.W. Blozer's capital O. So Blozer's first O here, he starts with just a nice oval, and then dips way down, dropping his shade way below the baseline, and then almost like a round exit oval or vertical exit oval here underneath the baseline. So super long, giant shade. Same length as the shade you see on his A that we did up at the beginning, but at a different angle, and yeah, dropping way below the baseline, which isn't something you see all that often. So let's go for it. Finally, I got one. Yep, it was a Christmas present. I got it from my mom for Christmas, and I've been using it pretty much every day since Christmas. For tea. Alright, now there is a slight accent shade. Get it in frame, actually. Let's do that. Oh no, I can't get it in frame with the paper. And stay zoomed in, sorry. It has a tiny accent shade on the first downstroke, so we'll see if we can emulate that. Okay. See, I have this flat spot there instead of keeping it nice and round. The inside on his is more flat on this side, and then stays nice and round on the outside, which is what I gotta work on getting today. Huh. Getting weird kinks in my movement today. I'll try to speed up a little bit. See if we can iron those out. Yeah, you can see this little right there. That's happened on pretty much everyone so far. A couple of them, so it's not a big deal. It's not a big sampling, but let's see if we can get rid of it. Well, that one felt like it got rid of it, but I didn't have a hairline. So we'll try that again. The idea? I got a little kink right there, but I'm not mad at that shade. You shade a little bit longer and there's a slight kink there as well. I gotta try to be aware of. Whoa, that was a better shade, but again, we lost our hairline in the beginning. Why is that happening? That could just be my ink, I guess. Potentially. Oof, no good. Kink up there. We're gonna call that one a happy one. We'll move on from Blozer and see what else we got in here. I think most of the O's are pretty standard. Oh, and right as I say that, Kanan has a crazy O. Not crazy, but yeah, crazy. Look at that guy right there. So it's basically starts like a capital C. Wait. Well, yeah, starts like a C, and then comes in shades on the inside, and then around. And that's an interesting shade, because with the something you don't usually see in capital oval shades, or in this case specifically the direct oval shade, this is sort of what we see most of the time, where we have an even taper from top to bottom, and then if you were going to make that shade shorter, either the oval would have to be shorter, and to show what I mean there, to get a shorter oval, if we wanted a shorter shade, the oval itself would have to be smaller. Normally you wouldn't do a large oval with a short shade. You can, but then you get this sort of little bloop and bloop right there and there, which some people really like and some people don't. I'm usually not a fan of it. I like to try to get my lines to smooth, to curve smooth in, but as a style element, you could see some Penman, especially on like the capital A, for example, would have like that, where you can see we don't have a smooth line on the inside here. It has, I'm drawing an exaggeration so you can see what I'm talking about, but it has the bubble on both sides, which Kanan has here, which is something we don't usually see in, like I said, in direct oval shades, which is going to be challenging because it means I have to push out a big shade really quickly because it's got to go in and out as I'm doing that oval. Normally, this is what would come out naturally as you're doing movement oval shades. They kind of go as you curve around, then the tines go with your movement and push out. So this is going to be a challenge. Bailey, and you tried this a few years back. It looks like I don't think I've ever done I mean, it's not much different than like the O that we're used to, which is this one here. Whoops, I just basically did blowsers. It's not much different than that because the shade is on the inside. But starting it with this large beginning oval into that portion is gonna be, it'll take some getting used to. But even there, like, that's not super difficult. Whoops. Forgot what I'm doing. That one has to go higher. There we go. So that we can get that with movement practice. No need to apologize, Marilyn. Welcome and Happy New Year. So now the kicker for me on this one is super gonna be getting that little, I'm gonna call that, not an official term, but I'm gonna call it a bulb shade. Because it bulbs out. Bloop. It's a bloopy shade, a bulb shade. I'm gonna make that its unofficial official term, at least for today. Okay. I'm gonna write this one slow real quick just to wrap my brain around where everything's crossing. This comes around. There's our baseline. This comes along the outside and cuts in right in between those two. Bulb shade. And then finishes below the baseline. Which is good, because one other issue we'd have if we finished with the normal horizontal oval bisecting the baseline, with the bulb and then the quick transition to the horizontal oval, there would be a high chance of getting a kink right there. But dropping below the baseline, there's still a chance of getting a kink, but it'll take that out a little bit. Slow writing. Yeah. Everybody who I'm laughing now. Fozzie requested that I would do some slow writing in today's video. That's not specifically why I did that, but I guess there's some slow writing for you to wrap your brain around things. I was like I said, I've been doing slow writing most of the week, or for the past couple weeks, getting all the final preparations ready for my class. So I haven't been doing a lot of movement writing, but it just feels different. Jeez. Wow. Let's slow down that shade. I'm dropping way below the, it's like, oh, this is super abrupt. Going way far once it gets into the shade. Why is it doing that? I'm gonna change my body position a little bit because I feel like my arm is making me pull harder to down and to the left than I would. Maybe that might not be the issue. Whoops. But that's the idea, okay. One day I'll remember to do exit ovals underneath the baseline. Come on, Mike. Okay, wait, this has to be a little bit lower. We're gonna start this little oval right in the middle. This is a good letter for if you've ever taken my movement writing class. Because of the scratching nib, you can hear the rhythm that is going on in my head. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 every time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then I went, my arm so much wants to do an oval above the baseline. Why? Why is that? so firmly in my brain that I won't remember to drop below the baseline. Ooh, tea for Ojaswinny today. What kind of tea? Ojaswinny? Just regular black tea or something fancy? Hello. Okay. I did not think we were going to have so much trouble with this one. Here's the idea. I think this letter would look really cool if we had this going, and then, wait, and this came. I didn't give myself enough space there. Like that. Ugly exit oval, but if I want that to, I think my brain wants that to happen. I think that would look cool. Ooh, chai tea. Nice. Okay. This is taking too long. Let's get this. Oh, let's knock it out. Here we go. O's and me. Man, it's like the capital D. We're not friends today. Okay, that's what we want. There's the right shape. Yeah, that is the right shape. Now all we gotta get is that bubble shade. Oh, good night, Mom. Sleep time already? Okay, bubble shade success. All my other hairlines went missing, but that's alright. There's the idea. Oh, it's so weird throwing in that shade so quick and short. Oh, too high. There's the idea. That one's pretty good. I'm losing hairlines for some reason. Snib. Too fine? Doesn't feel too fine. I'm gonna try to narrow this out a little bit. It's a little too wide. A little oval. Panicked going into that shade. Jeez. Yeah, that is challenging, Kanan. There might be something wrong with the paper. It's possible. It's more likely that it's just me, though. There we go. That's what we wanted. Here we got 4. Well, this one's kind of the weird one in the middle, but we got some. Looks like my arm's waking up a little bit. That's the idea. I still would like to shorten that shade and end it about there if I could. What up, Sagrudi? If you look at all the O's, they have a divot in the same. Yeah. That's habits. For me, you can tell I have an issue right here on a lot of my O's. And then going into the shade, that's primarily just because of warm-up and relaxation. Yep. All right. Come on. Work with me, paper and ink. Not the store. That one's still my favorite so far, but I want to try a few more and see if I can dial it in just a little bit more. As one calligrapher once told me, I'd rather go a little harder than miss the line altogether. Yep. Just not terribly smooth, which is weird. My warm-ups made me feel like we'd be pretty smooth today. There we go. That's smoother. Now, to do it like Kanan, this has to come up much closer to this one. More similar to this guy up here. That's nice and close. Haha, thank you. That transition, my hand is doing the shade. Raise my chair a bit. Something just doesn't feel smooth today. Oh, that's too high. Happy New Year, Hody. Welcome. What is happening? Yep, that's how it works, Aravind. If you just sort of blur your eyes a little bit and look at the entire thing, it's super pretty. Wow, and I mean, half the time that's a pretty good idea anyways, to not nitpick too much. Glide sheet. My hand is doing really, my transitions in and out of my ovals are very, panicky's not the right word, but that's what it feels like. It's going, that's what every shade feels like for some reason in my arm. I'm relaxed doing the oval, relax, 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 relax. That's how it feels, which happens sometimes. There's no real reason, I don't think, for that type of thing to happen. It just sort of happens. Yeah, wonky. I did not expect to spend almost a whole page, but this is good practice. All these beautiful ovals, and then when I go for it, I don't understand. It's panic. I think it's panic. My nerves are on edge today, I guess. There's a nice, long, super long shade on it though. But that's the shape that we want. I could, maybe I need more of a tea break. I mean, Hody, you're not far off. This Canan's O in the examples we're looking at this week are very C-ish. C-ish. There's the idea. That one's also pretty good. Well, that smiley face looks a little not happy with it, but it's supposed to be a happy face. He's smiley faces can have a lot of character. They're like they're like little stick men. With very little work, they can have a lot of character. There's those two weren't bad. We're gonna call that good on Canan C. I like that C. And that was a good exercise for myself today in relaxing and getting into my writing mode. Inebriated. Yep. That little smiley face. He doesn't, I mean, now he just looks weird. Before, he definitely could have been described as a little inebriated looking. One too many. I'm gonna have a sip of tea. Let's see if the opposite of what tea does, I guess, but I think it'll relax me a little bit. Go to slow mode. We'll do one in slow mode. Just cuz. The cool thing about slow mode, I mean, it has, like anything, it has its positive and negatives, but it gives you time to think. So we change our grip. Now my paper angle, I'm gonna leave it at this angle because that's what the camera and everything is set up for. Normally, as we know, when I change grips, you can see what the angle of my nib changes substantially. but I'm going to counteract that by just tucking my elbow over here. So I reposition my nib that way. Normally, you would rotate the paper, but then I don't want the video to be all crooked, so I'll just rotate my forearm and wrist a little bit to accommodate. And then we do like so. Slow mode, there's the C. The C? No, the O. Whoops. I'll figure out. Why hard to watch, Aravind? There's nothing wrong with slow writing. Well, lost my hairline there. That's okay. All right. Let's move on to our next O, shall we? No, it's not the paper. I can tell. Enough of those worked that it's not the paper. It's definitely me. That's very true, Fuzzy. Aravind does watch you write slowly without complaint. But apparently I'm not allowed. I tell you, if I could get the beautiful hairlines and like the smooth lines that I get with movement writing, with slow writing, I wouldn't write fast. I wouldn't use fast movement at all. Because it's much easier to get the forms and everything looking nice slowly, and the shade, placing the shades and stuff like that, and you can think as you go. But the good lines are just so important to me. Uh-oh. Feels like a warrior spinning his sword. Hilarious. Gonna make a poster of like a samurai warrior holding an oblique holder instead of his, what's it, wakizashi, instead of his snazzy sword. Okay, wakizashi, is that the right name? I don't know if that's the right name. Okay, what do you got for us, Berensmeyer? Okay, standard O. But the one thing that's different, that is going to be a little interesting, he maintains, this may be one of the first times I've noticed this, his long entry, tiny accent, but that's just because of the movement, tiny accent, long shade. He has a little divot in there, which I don't think is intentional. I think he was going for something more like on this G, but that's okay. Giant shade. And then maintains, he doesn't go full circle, and he doesn't go horizontal oval. He maintains the writing angle, which in this instance is what, 48 to 45, somewhere around, not 45, maybe 48. He maintains that angle in a wide oval shape. So we'll see how that goes. The long entry, the thing with the long entry, this is how we always say it's nice to start on the move. So a lot of times with this one, you wouldn't just, like, you don't just sit here and then write. You want to go, and if you imagine this is your sort of warm-up oval, then a large oval like this, which if you imagine Berensmeyer's range of movement is probably around like 2.5, 3 inches on average. This would be his sort of, his large oval size that he would do with his forearm. If he did these with forearm, I'm not sure if they're forearm or whole arm, but we'll pretend, just so this analogy works or for this explanation works, as he's going, that's the exact angle that this line is coming in on. So it's not straight. It does go as if it's like it could be also a horizontal oval here. If you imagine like a horizontal entry oval, then coming over this way, that's going to give you the top of that, then transitioning into the angled oval. So there's multiple ways of thinking about it to get that long over the top, rather than thinking it's just a frame of mind, but it accomplishes the same thing. Instead of thinking straight across and straight down into the oval, because then you'll end up with this long straight line that goes into an oval. You want that to just look like a hairline coming from a larger or a larger horizontal or larger angled oval. What up, my man? Magic O. Does that mean the next pajama party is gonna be fast riding Fozzie? Ooh. The challenges are being thrown out today. Okay, here we go. Shade's too long and too low. I gotta rotate that up to be about there and there, which is, it's funny. You know, where the drop goes, that fraction of a second that I came down, I need to go a fraction of a second earlier to just rotate, because it's the proper length. It's exactly what I want lengthwise. It just needs to go just needs to go up a little bit higher. And man, I did the same vertical sort of oval that EW Blozer had instead of, there we go, keeping that angle. I've never done that for an exit oval before. But I like my entry. That's pretty much exactly what I want the entry to look like. Ha! No, Marilyn. I did not say ass writing. At least I don't think I did. Fast writing. Okay. Here we go. That exit feels really weird. Closer. We got crazy wobbly lines there. Kink there. This one's a spiky O. I like how much Ojaswini likes nicknaming everything. I did it again. So you see, every time I try to start my shade sooner is when I get that crazy, and this is because of, like I talked before, panic, for lack of a better word. It's anticipation. I shoot out farther to the right, getting ready for some reason, instead of just following the flow of my warm-up. Drop this down in size just a little bit. I don't want to rotate the paper because every other letter, this is the angle of the paper that is best for me for every other letter. So I don't want to be rotating the paper every time I have to do an indirect or a direct oval. I could rotate the paper to get the right shape, but then I have to do that every time I do the O, and I don't see the point in training a crutch instead of just training yourself to do it all in one position. And I know I can do it. I just it's that anticipation that kills me. And also the camera is set up this way. I don't want to rotate the paper out of flat, because this is how I normally write. This is how I like writing my lowercase letters, and most other capitals are best at this angle. So I just have to train my O, my D, and whatnot like that to work at this angle. I did it again. It's that whole... That's what we want. This needs to be longer. Yeah, my big issue with rotating paper, and I know a lot of people, and back in the day, they rotated the paper a lot as well. I know for offhand flourishing, it's mandatory to rotate the paper. But for writing, one reason I don't like rotating the paper so much, even like, for example, that exit shade that Blozer uses all the time, it's like that, ish. It's almost mandatory to rotate the paper to get that shade proper. But what happens because you train at one angle, so every time you do this oval here, it ends up, because that's the oval that changes the most. If I rotate my paper to get that shade so I can do it, then I now have to do this oval at a foreign weird angle to what I'm used to. And I feel like a lot of people don't recognize that, they don't see that, because you think, okay, all my focus is on this shade because I want to get this shade looking exactly perfect, rotate the paper, do the shade, then they look at the piece, and to them or to their eye a lot of the time that the piece looks perfect or good because that shade is perfect or good. But then when I see it, I see oftentimes this oval here going into it looks wrong. And not that it's at a bad angle or anything, it just doesn't look like the other horizontal ovals in the rest of the piece. It doesn't correspond well with them. Even if it's slightly different, because there's a good chance it will be slightly different, you can see that. Not everybody can see that, but I noticed that. And that's from what I think unnecessary paper rotation, and then focus on when a piece is finished. It's really easy to get blinded by the things that you're focused on. There's many of the old signatures and whatnot like that. People have showed me, I've seen all the studies I've done, this is the best signature I've ever seen. And then I'll look at it and say, but what about that Y? Or what about that transition from this to this? And there'd be something in it that they never saw because they were blinded by the focus and all the parts that were absolutely outstanding. It's easy, they hide the things that are inaccurate. And that's why I don't like changing my paper, because then, with my paper the way it is, there's still mess ups, but when things work, they all work together. Yeah. All that being said, a lot of people do rotate their paper, and it's a good technique. I just don't like doing it because there's too many variables for me. Ending oval. I got halfway there, and then I just didn't tuck this in. It's a nice shade, though. It's a little too long for Berensmeyer. That's okay. Notice we didn't panic out in this corner like we did up here, which is good. Let's do another one of those shorten the shade, lengthen the entry oval, and do... I always have issues with my ending ovals, apparently. I can never remember what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just do what's habitual. That's close. Just not the smoothest. That checks all the boxes we're looking at today. Now I just gotta do it better. Nope. Panicked before the shade. You can see it. Calm. Panic. I say panic. It's not really panic. It's just that anticipation. And that's where the more relaxed you are, the better it works. It's just difficult to be super relaxed sometimes. Here we go. Those are good. That one's actually quite close. The biggest thing that's missing is my shade is still just a little too long on this one. If that shade ended just right there where the ink started tapering, that's what that would have been right on the money in comparison to Berensmeyer's. Nice. Aha, Bahmed, I was waiting. Nobody's commented on my flange since I've been using this pen and whatnot. It's, to my knowledge, most penmen don't have experience using a flange like this. It is called a folded flange. I don't remember what penmen or what pen makers back in the day used them, but it is inspired by vintage holders. And it is a folded flange, where that means... Get my camera focused, there we go. What that means is it comes out of the pen, goes down, and then folds over. And same from the front. It comes out, goes down, and then folds over. So that piece of metal folds back over on itself. And what that does is places from the side, it places the nib below the pen. So then when you have your upward cant, or not cant, when you have your upward angle this way, it brings the point to the middle of the pen rather than to the top of the pen. And it's not like a mandatory thing. To be quite honest, feeling wise, this one is manipulated and arranged to feel basically exactly like the blue leather wrapped one. This one was a bit of an experiment. I like the idea of the folded flange. I think they're really cool. I don't think any better or worse than a standard flange. I just like I like that they drop the nib. It gives a different feel. Like, you can't really see, but the way the pen sits on a piece of paper, the nib is right here. Get focus again. I want to show one more thing. Okay. So if a nib is sitting on a page, if you look at that from this angle, the nib is almost flat with the paper. It's a little bit up, but it sits, and you can see the flange too is very flat. So it's sitting, the pen is here, and the nib is like dropped down and pretty much right on the table. A little bit up, but almost right on the table. Compared to, let me just chuck a nib in my leather wrapped one. And keep in mind, these pens both feel virtually the exact same when I write with them. And that's what I find so fascinating about flange adjustment. Because when this sits on a piece of paper or on the table, the nib, as you can see already, is up. So it sits like this. The nib is tipped to the side and is, you can see, pointed way up from the pen. And I write with a relatively steep pen angle, so it's not as high up as some people's as well. Some people who write with a shallower pen angle go way higher. But if you compare them to how they sit, they're totally different. So that would make you think in my hand they'd be totally different. But in my hand, you'll see this one. I go here to my natural writing position. The flange is currently aiming right here at my chest. The end, or the nib, the tail of the nib is coming right here at my chest, and I'm writing, and I'm canted everything in the right direction. And then when I change pens, I won't move my hand at all. When I change pens to this one, it is literally pointing to the exact same place. So it's where, when it comes into the rotation of the pen itself, where it sits naturally in my hand, the nib is the exact same, but it's in a completely different place in regard to my fingers and the pen. So it's interesting. I find it extremely fascinating. So it's still, I don't know if I probably won't stick to using this one for a long time, but this is my one folded flange that I made a while ago. And I've been using it for a while now, getting used to it. But didn't take very much getting used to, because it's set up pretty much the exact same as my other one. My favorite nib angle, I guess. But it's fascinating. But it is more challenging to make. It's not as easy as just putting it in a jig that'll press in the shape or fold the flange, because it has to fold back in on itself. It requires a little more finagling. Okay, we're gonna call Bairnsmeier there. That's a good one. I'm happy with that one. As soon as I dip in ink, I will give that one a happy face. Because if I don't, Fozzie will give me a hard time. And then we will go and see what's Mr. FB Courtney got for us. Alright. Zoom in here a little bit again. Yeah, I mean, be careful with it's not an easy flange to make. It requires a lot of extra metal. Most existing flanges in your pens can't be just made into a folded flange because there's not enough metal. It needs an extra bit to drop down and then come back up again. So there's more to it than that. I have some, if you look at the tools section on the Discord, I did take some close-up photos of this one if you want to see it a little better, Mohammed, if you're planning on experimenting. But know that most current existing flanges don't fold well into, or don't have enough extra metal to make a flange. All right, here we go. Courtney's O. So we're gonna start this one. He comes in from the end. We're gonna start this one with a horizontal entry oval right in the middle. So not up high like we normally do them. And then it's just a simple, now cut off here. So we have one narrow oval to go into just 2 loops. Second one shaded, and then a nice rounded oval, exit oval. So that should feel pretty comfortable. For some reason, doing double shaded O's has always been more comfortable for me than single shaded ones for some reason. And also, I think because of how I wrote when I first got started in penmanship, I'm very, very comfortable starting letters with a horizontal entry oval. Like when I would do capital A's and things like that. Starting with a horizontal entry oval like that, for some reason, the O's and the A's, it helps me stay on slant, and there's no, I can't think of a technical reason why that is, other than because when I learned Spencerian and wrote, I did so much slower writing, and all of my writing was always horizontal oval into my shades, that now Even when I don't do a horizontal oval entry, I will usually in the air, instead of doing a regular oval in the air before starting, I'll do a horizontal oval in the air. Just because that seems to be what my brain and arm muscles and everything are comfortable with for some reason or another. What up, James? Welcome. Oh, you you want me to try one of Mike's quadruple shaded O's? I've done those in movement before. I think the last time him and I hung out, where were we? San Francisco? I was doing some of his O's with crazy shades. Okay, here we go. Or with, yeah, lots of shades. All right, Courtney. Should be simple. It's not double shaded. It's just accent shaded and then one main shade. So I don't know if this will work as good as my double shaded ones do or not. We'll find out. Not quite. Kink. 5 shaded O. All right. I'll give it a shot after we get through the rest of the O's. See, do you see how like crazy wonky these look versus like when I just chuck that one out? For some reason, diving into the 2 shades just ends up working for some reason. Goes back to that whole anticipation versus being relaxed thing, I think. That's almost exactly what I was trying to do. As always, my shade is a little too low, and then just that. If we would have hit that traffic, that space instead of going out, and that going out is in anticipation for that shade every time. It's not there in just regular hairline ovals, but when I'm going into a shade, for some reason, that happens. This little bit right here. And it pains me to say that it always has. Sometimes I work on it and it goes away, but it seems to always come back. Okay, he does have his first oval is a little higher. So I'm gonna bring it up just above our line here, I think. So there's 2 bumps on top instead of just 1, which is a deviation from the norm. Just a cat. Nope. Kink there. Oh, it's behind me is really bright. I think I have my lights cranked up a lot higher than normal, and they're shooting at the roof instead of normally they're a lot lower, but they're half on my face and half at the roof. But I was too lazy to set them up in normal late night live situations, so they're just pointing at the roof, and I turned them up, so they're blaring at the roof. So my roof is daylight basically. Now, that's the right shade that I wanted, but I had my little wonky entry there. My ovals lost their shape a little bit. But that's closer to what I wanted. I think this oval here needs to be a little more narrow to match Courtney. which we should be able to do. Panic. That's the idea. Ah! Panic. Most of these aren't bad O's. I'm not super mad at most of them. They're just not exactly what I'm going for. I'm getting not. I keep saying panic, not panicked, but that's better. Nope. See a question about my nib. Let me do one more of these, and then I'll answer that one. Lost my hairline at the end, but I'm happy with that one. It's close. We're close. I think the most beautiful thing about Courtney's, and I'll bring it in the screen here, this oval in here has a beautiful taper. That's the main thing. Mine get a little too rounded on top. Not too rounded, just too rounded to look like his. You see here, just that beautiful, long, almost like a fat ascender stroke. And then this one, it just follows perfectly parallel to that with the shade. It's beautiful. I will give that one some more work at a later date. Irina, I am currently using a Gelot 303, a modern Gelot 303. I don't know if the batches that are currently sold in stores are equal to this one. I think this batch was from around, I honestly don't remember what year, but a few years ago. A few years ago when I got these ones. And they're amazing. But I don't know if the ones that are currently being sold are as good as this one. Oh, Aravind, you guessed wrong. Normally, yes, I've normally used a Hunt 101 or a Leonard Principle. But today, and I think the Christmas edition as well, I've been loaded up with my Gelot 303. I went through my box of used Gelot 303s and not sharpened because they're sharp enough, but smoothed a few of them to get them back into writing position. I didn't want to start a new one, but I wanted to write with a 303 again. So I smoothed some of them and got them ready for writing again. Okay, oh, I was excited for this one. JD Todd. Now, he gives us a few options. We have our standard, pretty much exactly what we were just doing. Exactly what Courtney did without the entry oval. And then he also gives us just a standard, super clean O like this. But the one I want to do is going to be the one that uses the reversed oval shade, or what I like to call the Z shade, or Z shade. It spirals out and shades on that side. Gotta be careful using this one because not everybody recognizes it with what a lot of other flourishes and lines around it can cause it to not look like an O. But we're gonna do that one today just to change things up, to keep it exciting. I also don't know if I've ever tried to write an O this way. Once you start with a 303, you can't go back. I mean, when you get a good batch, like I said, I was blown away when I first bought these and started using them. It's an incredible batch of them, and it's like the best nib I own, including like my vintage nibs and stuff like that. This is like the perfect nib. It wears out quick because it is so sharp and so fine. It's really like one nib snap, like the metal's really soft. So one nib snap And if you're not good at realigning the nibs, it's going to basically be no good. This nib is also better now for white ink than it is for walnut or black ink, just because white ink is a little more forgiving because it's a thicker ink. The hairlines aren't going to be as good with black or walnut as they would be with a new one. But yeah, it is super, super soft, and it just gives me large shades without really any effort at all. All right, here we go. Let's try this out. Happy New Year, Villas. Okay. This is interesting because the biggest difference, most penmen were used to doing that shade either ends or continues to make the Z or to make the Q or things like that, or to make the ending of a B. It rarely, it doesn't go back up to finish the oval like it does here, which is interesting. This is one of those strokes that if I was better at throwing shades, I would almost want to do it throwing, because then I could just do my regular inward spiral and shade on that upstroke instead of the downstrokes, but I can't do that. Pomegranate. Interesting. You'll have to let us know how that works. Oh, that feels really weird, actually. A lot weirder than I thought it would. Not bad. The thing that makes his look so good, I'll show an exaggeration of what it's easy to, what you can see on these first couple. Like the way this ends up, what this ends up looking like is almost like a stem shade, almost like I tried to do a stem shade that didn't work out so well, or that went sort of too rounded on the bottom. And what makes his look so good, I think, is how close his parallel lines are. So it keeps this condensed oval shape, but it doesn't end up looking like, even if I do something like this, if my first oval's too big, and I do something like this, that's not really going to look like an O. That was shaded there. It's not really going to look like an O. This is going to end up looking like a stem shade a little bit. To me anyways, to my eye. So it's almost like we need, as we're going, one of the most important parts is that first oval size. So we can follow that there, and then ideally follow that around at the nice and close, so it keeps the whole thing looking like a keeps the whole thing looking like an O and not just looking like a poorly made spiraled stem shade. Which may be easier said than done. Whew. I'm not comfortable making that shade from top to bottom like that, as you can tell. Oh, now my paper's getting funky. Became an X with a curly. Kinda did. True. I wish I could grow a curly mustache. I cannot. label it as a curly mustache, it'll get it'll get that kind of happy face instead of a smiley face. It'll just get 2 eyes and a curly mustache. Jeez. I guess I need to work on my reverse outward spirals. That's something I don't do very often. That's better. That one's close. This O is messing up the spacing. This is an interesting O. No, I can't think of a Z because with a Z, the emphasis is down. So my arm is pulling down to dip up and then come back down into the stem or into the descended stroke. Because the shade isn't the issue. The issue is the parallel lines and getting them to look clean. The shades, getting a nice reversed oval shade isn't where the problem is here. It's getting a smooth, not a very nice sit, but it's getting the smooth parallel lines. I'm just not used to making parallel reverse outward spirals, apparently. It's just a movement I'm not very used to. Yep, we're still on O, Fuzzy. I'm going super slow today, apparently. Through these O's. There we go, we're getting there. It's getting dialed in as the muscles get used. I mean, it's, yes. I mean, I wonder, if we do this way, well, I guess it's sort of like doing an O with a shade. You're just shading the leftmost oval instead of the right oval. It's a weird. I'm just gonna do a couple more and then I'm gonna move on from this one to who's next? Mataraz, I think. Well, I did those out of frame. Sorry. And it came out quite nice too. That spiral is getting in my muscles a little bit now. Well, I say that and then I do that. Close enough. Those are pretty decent. But that's shows from the beginning to where we got there. I mean, it's a really short amount of time. But when I always talk about penmanship being, or movement writing specifically being it's muscle practice. It's no amount really of thinking it through before you do it is going to make it. I mean, that's important. You have to have a good visual of what you're trying to create before you actually create it. But the visual alone isn't going to be enough. If you're doing slower, more controlled writing, a visual alone can sometimes be enough. But when you are trying to do movement writing, it's like, I always use the analogy of a pitcher throwing a baseball. You can't imagine and read your way through doing that. You got to get out on the pitch and throw hundreds, thousands of baseballs until it makes sense and you can learn how to control and manipulate the ball. And that's what this is. This was a really unique spiral to me that I've never really done. And it's showed me something that I'm missing. So now I have something that I can work on, that I've started working on tonight. Now, before we go into into Mataraz, I'm going to take a quick pause. I have to run to the restroom. I'm drinking a lot more water these days. One of my New Year's resolutions is to stay more hydrated. So I'm going to take a quick restroom break, and I'll be right back. And we're back. This is the first. No, I took a break in one of the first ones. I've taken breaks before, in a couple of them to date. Okay, Mataraz, what do you got? Well, Mataraz is just a standard. The biggest difference in Mataraz is O. He has the hairline, oval, and then a really long extended, again, that's due to his speed, more than likely, his super long, elongated exit oval below the baseline. Breaks are important. Normally, they're not needed, but I have been drinking a lot more water lately than is normal for me, so yeah. I gotta take more breaks. Oh, now I'm used to going with reversed oval. I gotta get back into regular direct oval shades again. Okay, so this one's closer. This is too round. I gotta extend that out farther. What's with them? Oh, right? Standard O's. What is with these boring standard O's? My favorite O lately is the super minimal one, Blozer's O. That guy right there. Such a beautiful O. That's been my favorite O that I've been doing a fair bit lately. Oh, that's the right idea. I think it's one of the pretty, I mean, the Blozer one, it's one of the prettiest O's that I've seen in vintage work. It's just, I mean, a lot of them are gorgeous. I just really like the simplicity of it. It's clean and quite beautiful. No shade on the end there. Bad habit I gotta get rid of. It's a new habit. I don't feel like I used to do it. I have a little too much weight on my horizontal overturns lately. Oh, I lost my hairline, but that's pretty close to Mataraz. I think the biggest difference, again, as per normal, my shade is a little too low. I need to bring my shade up a little bit, and they could be slightly close together. I'll try to get those a little closer together. Yes, Odie, it can be, but it is essentially an oval, so it's kind of one of the important ones. The O and the D, they're just ovals, and the C as well. They're important ones. Oh, sorry, let me get in frame here. Kanan's O is pretty. I need to work on that one a little bit more and iron it out. Where does he start? Okay. Starting there, second one there. Just think good thoughts. I mean, take a big breath, take a deep breath, and relax. And they come out better that way than without. Oh, come on, hairline. Keeping a shade high, like, yeah, I agree, James. It is one of the toughest things. For some reason, I feel like I find it easier on the capital A just because it's angled more than a standard O would be. So because it's angled more, I can shoot it. I don't know, for some reason, it feels like I can shoot it out that way and end it before it ends up staying higher. With an O, yeah. It's tough. It's just that placement, that fraction of a second when your arm goes bop. And yeah, it's one of those things. You remind yourself over and over again, high shade, high shade, high shade, and then you drop your shades way below the baseline. All the time. Okay, high shade, high shade, high shade. Here we go. High-ish. I forgot to end below the baseline. Maybe it's a trade-off. I got one or the other. Either I'll remember where to put my shade, or I'll remember where my baseline goes, or where my ending stroke goes. I gotta pick and choose. Okay. High shade, high shade, high shade. Ooh, I didn't go below the baseline again, but keeping the shade up there. I'm gonna have to go through like a routine every time before I write. Do this, do this, do this. Can't focus on that many things at once. This is where if you write enough, it will become habitual. I guess I don't write enough. Okay, high shade, here we go. Booyah! Highest shade, we got a little bit of a kink in that middle spot, but so does Mataraz, so I'm not mad at it. Little shade on this ending stroke. Bad habit of mine. I'm not super mad at it. Not a super close parallel. We had a better parallel lines over here. We're gonna call that all right. The parallel lines are pretty wonky, but the shade is high, so I'm gonna be happy with that. Now, that ends it for the O's, except for we had requests for one of Mike Sull's crazy 5 or 4 or 5. I think he has a 6 shaded one as well. We'll see what we can do if we can do one of those. Smiley face. Whoops, too late. Ozzy says, when I go fast, the shade just drags. That's when you go fast. It's not so much that it's dragging, it's just you have to release your pressure that much quicker, which makes it extremely difficult. Yeah, very true, James. I feel like when we were in San Francisco, what did we do? 7? 9? Can't remember. Sometimes you can get Mike in a silly mood and get him to create just some bananas O's. I feel like that's got to be one of his favorite letters to write. Now in this book, there's a page of variations that I believe has some of his O's that should have one of his super. Some of them are just spirals, which is not what we're going for. Like this, you can see has 1, 2, 3, 4 shades, but this one is it just spirals in, right? Whoa, wait. Yeah, that's just a spiral in. That's not what we're going for. We're gonna try the one that is more like this one, that goes the inside first, then the outside, then the middle, and then out. I can't remember exactly where. These in a long time. We're gonna go slow first to wrap my brain around this. Above our entry oval. Oh, my white ink needs stirring. That's just a triple shade. I don't know if I have a photo of one of his like 6 shaded ones. Fuzzy, if you have one at the ready, I know you're a big fan of them. Would you mind sending me one on Instagram or whatnot? If you have one ready, if not, no worries. I can probably I can create a 6 one. Where was I going here? There's a 4. That's not how he does it though. He wouldn't have the large one at the end come out. He'd usually, this one would be the finish, so he would go. Then this would come around the outside. And then this would tuck in there. I think that's his most common crazy twisted one. I believe. Don't judge the shape of my oval right now. 20 shaded. Can you imagine a 20 shaded O? How big it would have to be? Like, even that is only 8, and that's silly. I mean, that's just a spiral one. I cheated. I didn't do any fanciness there. It does look like a fingerprint. That's true. Alright, let me check. Did Fozzie send me anything? Or is she not? She's not paying attention. Oh, she did message me. Nope. She messaged me before the live happened. Fozzie's ignoring me. That's okay. or she's looking for it. Okay. Oh, through here. Whoops. That's probably the cleanest for a 5. I like that one. We can try to do that one. I'm gonna do that one a couple more times slow, and then we're gonna try it with movement. I like that design. It's how I believe Mike would do it. I'm pretty sure if I asked Mike to give me a cool 5 twisted O, that's what he would do. Whoops. I messed up. Oh, I have a message. Who's it from? Not from Fozzie. Come on, Fozzie. Fozzie's not paying attention to us anymore. Albin's O. I've obviously seen his... I was asking if you had one of the most shaded O's that Mike has ever done, Fozzie. I know you have pictures of them on your phone. Okay. Oh, Fozzie said, hold on. A sketch is fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to figure out the mapping of how he would want to do it. Okay, can I even do that at speed? I might have to turn the paper for doing this one, but... Okay, let's try 3 first. Which would be inside, side. Like that. Okay, I gotta drop my first one down more to give myself space, right? Yeah. Okay, that's the idea. That's what we need to do with shades. That's our traffic, no problem. The proper way to do this would be to spend some time drilling that to get it in my muscles, but we're just gonna go for it, because that's what we do. Is that how it works? Something feels wrong about the bottom there. Obviously, my ovals aren't clean, but something in the plan I'm doing doesn't feel right. But maybe it's right and I'm just imagining things. I'm gonna try to drop my entry oval a little lower and bring this oval almost, I want that to come down farther, closer to the baseline. So ideally, whoops. Should be more like that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's the plan. Executed with some rapidity, if we can. Ah, nib snap, but that's the idea. Oh, those two turned out pretty not too snazzy. That actually looks really pretty. Not perfect, but I ain't mad at it. Luckily, like I said before, I've done lots of double shaded O's, and I've done Mike's O's before with movement, but for some reason, continuing spirals, this feels like that exercise that we've all done. If you've done movement writing, you've done like those types of exercises where you're just, whoops, I did those out of frame, sorry. Where you're just continuing and continuing, shade, 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 and that's what these O's feel like. It's a little bit of a mental funness, and luckily I'm really used to Mike's work. So I understand, sort of, I'm used to changing up the traffic of where things go. But when it's just those spirals or those shades, it's just shade, 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 and then just placing them in the right spot. Feels good. And comes out of my pen relatively well. All right, Fozzie sent it. Holy moly, so that's, how many is that? I'll show this on the phone. Look at this thing. Okay, I'm gonna count here. What do we got? 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seriously, this is 7? 7. That's bananas. So the trickiest part, he goes all the way, so he's creating the shape of his O with the third shade. Okay, what? How close does he get this one? This one continues. And cuts through. Wait. Yep. And then from here, it's just spiraling. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Darn it, I did one not enough. But that's the idea, I just didn't have the space. And he also, wait, where is? So the one interesting part, or one thing that I find interesting, his third loop, if we look here, his third loop, which is, there's 1, 2, wait. Well, that's his second loop. Okay, I got that part wrong. Whoopsies. Okay, that should make it even easier then. Okay. makes sense. I mean, Mike Loves. I remember the first time. I don't assume it was when he first started doing these types of O's, but I remember once he came to me, and it was he got super excited, and this was when we were still relatively newly friends. I hadn't known him that long, and he said he'd been working on something, and he was excited to see me try it, or he was excited to challenge me with it. And I'm pretty sure this is the stuff that we got into after he said that. Okay, but I did this wrong. It's after this first one. He goes all the way. First one. Yeah. First one comes over here. Tucks in. And now this is the one that goes all the way around. No, I did that wrong again. No, I didn't. No, that's right. This is the one that goes all the way around. To follow here. Then he leaves a space. And then he fills that space. Right? And then it spirals. Is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, that's the whole thing. Man! Okay, now I did it. The one, I guess, different thing that I did that he, from his... So his first oval, or his first little loop, and his outer loop are parallel to each other, but all of the other ones start getting, like, because the one that comes over here goes through that. Huh. I'm gonna try a monoline one. Sorry, I'm cut off. I'm caught up on this now. We might not get to any more capital letters today. Is it really possible? I don't know. In movement, 7 maybe not. But I just want to see, because this is a drawing, I don't have my shades can't go where I would normally put them. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. Okay. Okay, now. Cuts this one a lot shorter. Which line is that? This line. Okay. Yeah, that's the weird part for me. It's... Okay. Yeah, the weird part is anticipating this is a different shaped oval than the rest of them. This large one. And then... The interesting part about... I guess he would probably shade up here. I'm wondering if I would rather have it look like how I did it the first time, where it's all inside of each other. But he has these last two lines. This one crosses through that first one, which is interesting. Twister Sundays. We could do a series of Twisters. Twisters are pretty fun. They're not done by a lot of people in movement writing because they're challenging. Okay. That's one connect. That spot right there, I don't really understand. I feel like I might be doing wrong. I feel like I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna keep that inside. Oh, and then we'll bring this underneath here. I'm gonna deviate from Mike's original plan a little bit and keep them all enclosed inside that one oval. Man. Yes. Luckily, Paul is home now. He's back home from the hospital. He's starting to feel a little bit better. They posted an update today about pushing back his workshops and the things he's got coming up on his calendar. But he is apparently feeling a little bit better, which is great. So good energy going to that guy. All right. Now, the only thing left to do... Oh, Fozzie sent his options with... Yeah, we're going to try this now with movement. I should not be using... I'll probably get nib snaps with this, but... Man... Nope. Where'd I go wrong? It's just remembering where everything is supposed to go. And also, I don't think my nib will hold enough ink to do 7. I gotta do them a little bit smaller. Okay, wait, I gotta remember. 1, 2... That's the biggest one. Oh, where's that other picture? Is that... Oh, it doesn't go all... Yeah, it goes right there. Sorry. Goes there. This is silly. Sorry, I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time. If this is not enjoyable for anybody, let me know and we can move on. But now this is sort of set in my brain. I want to see if we can do it. That's not 7. That is 7. Okay. I mean, that is messy as heck. But that... most of what I'm trying to do is in there. There's one crossing that feels really... feels weird. And I want to figure it out. That has to go all the way to the baseline and give lots of space in here. I think that's what I'm missing out too. Give not enough space there. Then that one's tight. Then we go all the way out here. Oh, and this is the one. This one has to tuck in. So that's why he tucked in. Okay, this one has to tuck in. Stays above the baseline. It's so easy to get lost. Oh no, this does go right there. Did I miss? Give me 2 seconds. Where's a pencil? I need to follow this with a pencil. On my phone. Okay. Good. The first one. Second one. Tucked in close to the first one. Yep. Then we go all the way around. Now this is not below the baseline. And this is the third one. Oh, and then it does tuck in close. Okay, I was adding one extra difficulty step. I was making it more confusing, more complicated than it had to be. Yep. Okay, one more time slowly. Goes all the way to the baseline. Gives lots of space. Close. All the way around. Stays above the baseline. Yep. Goes close to the 2 on the right. Goes up there. And then from here, it's just spirals. One more. Right? Am I crazy? That made sense. Pretty sure I'm not skipping any steps here. I don't think I am. Yeah, and that's close. From 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Come out of this one, we have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 spirals. So it's tricky bit, and then 4 ovals go in a spiral. Okay. Yeah, I was making it too complicated. which means I think we can do this. I really think we can do this. If we get through the first 3, we can spiral those out. Well, I won't say no problem because it's still going to be super hard, but I'm going to go whole arm for this, I think, just for the first little bit. No, that one was supposed to tuck in close. Tabata. Got too excited. No, this needs to go farther. Yeah, that's important. Okay, we're gonna get there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. Okay. I need a new sheet of paper. This is silly, but we're doing it. Oh, I can use the back of our first sheet of paper. Hopefully was no oil on my desk, and it's gonna work nicely. Get in frame for you guys. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit here. I didn't have enough space, but I got 6. Relatively clean. This is making you hungry. Okay. That's not right. That's how you do one of his regular smaller ones. This has to stay tucked in close, Mike. Close. You're getting sleepy. So wait, I just need to have space for one more in there, and then that's it, right? Yeah. 3, and then everything spirals from there. So we want this second one needs to drop closer to the baseline. Do, 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 do. What's that, 6 again? Darn it. My lines, I don't want to do it any bigger. My lines just have to get closer together. And I'm going to drop, yeah, that second shade has to drop closer to the baseline. Or coming out of that second shade. Nope. No, not enough space. Darn. That's how it needs to move. Okay. We can do that. I know we can do that. We just have to remember what we're doing. Quick dip so we get lots of ink in the pen so we don't run out. There it is. It's not very clean, but it's all there. The only thing that I'm happy with right now is that all my ending, I forgot to go way below the baseline, but all of the connections are clean. They're all, that one's a little tight, but they're all technically where they're supposed to be. How to make that one not tight? That first shade has to round out a little bit sooner. Man, that's a lot to think about. Nope. Ugh. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Eating donuts. Nice. I feel like I got supremely derailed from my capital comparison, and I'm kind of okay with it. If you're here for the capital comparison, sorry. Is that right? That's it? That's bananas. I want to do it smaller and cleaner than that, but that's the idea. That's hilarious. Does he shade? Well, I guess he doesn't shade any of them because it was just in pencil. So the only really bad shade or bad oval was that first one. I went too angled. I was too slow getting into my slant angled oval on this one, so it got too close right there. That's the idea. I'll try again. I did that. I can do better. I can do it better. I think maybe not. Nope. And my hairline disappeared. So that was a much more complicated variation. Mike would like this. I mean, I lost my shades and I lost my hairlines. But if you see what happened, sort of unintentionally. We went through, I did the first one, came around here, and then, what did I do? Yeah, instead of just spiraling. What? Oh no, that was, I don't know. That was a 6 circle variation that felt like I did something really weird in the middle of it, but maybe I didn't. That's to be close. That's the shape we need there. Very true, Aravind. What up, Jesse? Welcome to the madness. We got derailed. We were doing capital comparisons, and then we started talking about Michael Sull's twisters, and I got experimenting to see if I could do one of his most challenging twisters, one of his most crazy, ridiculous twisters, with movement writing. So that's what we're doing now. Not enough space. Yeah, we got a little loopy. So far, this is the closest we've got. We're doing the 7 shaded O. And this is good. It's not perfect, but it's good. That's the idea. And now everybody's probably a little sick of watching me do these. But now I'm in challenge mode now, where I want to do one really good. Not enough space. Darn it. That one would have been decent, but I ran out of space. That was a good 6, and I'm running out of ink when I get to the end. I'm going to try to make the whole thing a little bit smaller, which is easier said than done. Is this paper dry yet? It is, yeah. Good. Good. I mean, his twisters are pretty... They're not necessarily designed for movement writers, which is why I'm in challenge mode. Yeah, some of his options are tricky. This one, after you get to the complicated part, it just spirals 4 times, which is easy to understand, to comprehend, so long as, and this is where my issue's coming in, getting the first lines in the right spot. How about 8? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ran out of ink on the end, though. I shouldn't have pushed it. I would have had enough ink to finish if I did 7. I had more space. Oh, it would be so cool if those ovals were all beautifully parallel and everything. This was the equivalent of, as a dancer, every once in a while, you get a day that's like a good turning day when doing jazz dancing and stuff. And if you're turning, and normally like a good clean triple is normal. I wasn't a very good turner. So every once in a while you get like a quad, and there's a moment when you're going and you're like, can I do 5 or can I do 1 more? Can I just keep going? That's what happened there. As you're going, like, well, let's just see. Now, I said I wanted to shrink it. I obviously didn't shrink it. I do want to see if I can do it a little bit smaller, but I'm worried that I won't have space then. But snap! Big blobby messes are okay. Yeah, see, I need it to be like that big, because then I could... Okay, so that's the tricky part. You got to gauge on that second shade where you're gonna plan everything. Or, sorry, third shade. Where everything's gonna go. I wonder if I drop this down to forearm movement, if that will naturally shrink it. Nope. Okay. We could do this. Not enough. Not enough space. Not enough space. 2 donuts. Yummy. I have no junk food in my house currently. I've decided that I'm not purchasing junk food for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, not enough. There's 7. That one's okay. It's a lot smaller. Not as clean as I want it to be. I think I'm going to be done with capital comparisons today. I think I'm going to just leave today's today's live with O. We did 1 capital letter, and I want to keep playing with this for a little bit, and then I'll play with this until I get sick of it, and then I'll probably end tonight. I have a few things to do before bed. Ah, that first one I keep forgetting to make in close. Ooh, cheesy fries. You're making me hungry, Fozzie. Oh, I pushed it. I should have stopped at 6. But those ovals were so... These shaded ovals were so nice and clean and cleaner parallels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I should have stopped that one at 6. most of the lives don't. I don't usually do a lot of twisters. If that's something you're into, then enjoy. If that's not something you're into, sorry. Late night lives are just me sort of goofing off and playing with writing. And this is Like I said, I'm in challenge mode now. Nip snap. Why am I getting so many nip snaps all of a sudden? Take a look at this nib. I might have messed something up. Oh, one of the tines is pretty worn down. Huh. It's the season for snow, but I don't like the snow when it comes in the form of snaps. Especially not when I'm trying to do challenging 7 oval twisters. Oh, too far. Oh, nibs. Why do you have to be so finicky? It'd be so awesome if a nib would just work perfect and never not snap perfectly back into position. That would be amazing. Alright, now did I completely ruin my hairline though? Okay, we gotta get... I'm with you, Jesse. I feel that. Okay. Oh, it's so hard to remember that this has to tuck in right there. Oh, everybody complains about winter until it's summer, and then they complain it's too hot. And they wish for winter, and then they wish for summer. Come on! That was going so well. Might have to change nibs to something that's a little bit friendlier for this paper. Grr. Come on. Yeah, that's a good point, Jesse. You're a snowboarder, then winter's definitely your time. I don't mind winter. I prefer snowy winters to rainy winters like I'm in right now. Nope. I'm gonna rotate my paper ever so slightly. Sorry that the camera's gonna be off angle a little bit. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 by accident. Whoopsies. But a nib snap in the middle. I want so much to get one of these. Really nice. But this is dramatic music. Nope. I won't change nibs. I don't like this nib any better anyway. All my nibs are scratchy. Oh, the hard... Go back to the... Was this the intense song? Nope. Only 6. Ah! The ovals were so good on that one, but I lost one shade. Disappeared in the middle. Darn it. That one was they're getting clean. I want that song again. Keep the intensity up. Oh, oh. Oh, that was disappointing. That hurts. It happened again. I lost a shade in the middle. Darn. This music is really, really intense. I want to make a whole playlist like this and have everybody watching just be on edge the entire time. What is happening? Okay, my arm is getting better and is liking what we're doing all of a sudden, but my hairlines are disappearing. So, going to clean our nib extra good, stir our ink, get a new sheet of paper, and start again. Because that one was, if I didn't lose that one hairline or that one shade. I could try to pick up the speed a little bit too, maybe, but I'm nervous too. Those ovals, again, the ovals are looking a lot nicer every time. I just need to, like, keep going back and replaying that intense song over and over again. Okay. The nib is fine, which means I am the problem. Why am I making it? Anything but that. Yeah, this slant is way slantier than the ones that I've been doing. Most of the ones I've been doing have been at a normal, like, 48, 52-ish slant, probably 48-ish. This one is very much between 40 and 45, I would guess. Which I'm not mad at, but it is very slanted. Which might be why the ovals are looking so nice. I guess if I turn my paper. That's 7. That one's pretty darn clean. Your hand makes laid down O. It does. The O's that come out of my hand naturally are very, very slanted. Had a couple snaps in that one, unfortunately, but trying to clean my pen after every one, which I normally don't do, but Went all the way on the outside. Too far. Nope. It's like every time it's that sixth shade. The sixth shade just says, nope, not today. What up, Jenny? Happy New Year. No. Boo. Good night, Marilyn. See you next week. Or on Instagram. Nothing's working, ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden. Nothing's working all of a sudden, and I don't understand why. Maybe that's why. Alright. Give this a few more tries, and then I'm gonna call her quits. Quits. Is it the music? It could be the music messing things up. What could we go with instead? I don't know what. This is just a weird playlist. Relax. No space. Darn it. Wow, this is very much a change of pace. Sorry, I just really quickly pulled a, I guess that's what DJs aren't supposed to do. An abrupt shift in the... mood. Forgot to shade them, both. Okay, one more page, and then I'm out. We got some decent ones on that page, but... This is the new and improved @ symbol. These are just ridiculous O's. This is like a flashback to when I first got into Spencerian and ornamental penmanship. I used to do a lot of Mike Saul's O's, and I haven't in a very long time. So I'm just kind of having fun now, and it is one heck of a challenge. Come on! You can hear them. There was like 5 snaps in there. Why am I snapping? snapping so much? You're not misaligned. You shouldn't be snapping. It might be my grip. Might be messing things up. You can tell I'm lifting on every upstroke because I'm nervous. Because I've been getting so many snaps. Darn it. Don't be nervous. Snaps happen. Whoa, this is a... Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling this playlist. Tell you what, I like DJ Quad's music. Sometimes I'll get YouTube copyright strikes for these songs, but whatever. We use this playlist. Not enough space. The upstrokes are the downfall. Trying to write. I'm changing my writing position a little bit to see if I can battle the snaps a little better. It's just not working, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not working. Yeah, hopefully chat replay doesn't go away again. Sorry, this has been less than exciting all of a sudden. I feel like it's just... It has to be my nerves. Oh, and I forgot to drink my tea yet again. But nothing's working all of a sudden. Not being hard on myself, it's just the truth. I know what I'm capable of and what my arm should be able to do. What's happening? I'm rotating this way? Is that what's happening? I shouldn't be getting this many snaps. Yeah. There's rotation happening in my nib on the large ovals. But if I make the whole thing smaller, I can't fit in 7. Pretty sure a new nib's not gonna fix my problem, but see if any of these other ones that are on my desk are any less scratchy. No, it's not. There's a... I'm pretty sure my wrist is rotating. Can't blame it on the tools. As much as I would like to. It's not the nib's fault. It's just really hard. And my arm is not stepping up to the challenge at the moment. Is this page dry? Yeah. Okay. Last page. If we don't get it, we don't get it. If we get it, sweet. Tines look good. Lift my chair just ever so slightly. Come on now. Let's do it. Boo. No, this has to go over there. Those are the worst one. That's like a false start in a race. Totally wrong shape. I was thinking when I was writing that one, if I don't get this in the next couple tries, I think I might try to do one of these for this week's, for a Super Flow Thursday this week, if I can. Where did you go? Hairline. And we had this little guy in here. Got too close. Gah. Those ovals felt good though. That's why I don't want to stop. It's so close. Darn it. Now I'm just running out of ink. Nope. False start. Darn it. I hate the false starts. They're the worst. Fingers are off the edge of the paper. Ah! Duh. Why is that so frustrating? I don't want to stop. I want to get it better. It's so close. No space. Oh, but still. I still lost that one. Jeez. That was only going to be a 6 in that shade. I don't understand why that shade disappears. The 6th shade. It's always the 6th shade. It's a conspiracy theory. See? It's the 6th shade. I need to make a shirt for that. The 6th shade is a thing. It has to be. Every time I write this, it's the 6th shade that disappears. Jesse, that's a question. It'll be part 2 in the series, so it will be safe. Yes, it might be a little overwhelming. Basically, part 1 of the movement writing series goes through the forms and teaching the alphabet and the movements. Now part 2 is going to be focused more on spacing and composing letters and doing more difficult capital variations and maybe some signature work potentially, but working on quotes and that kind of stuff, putting together more so pieces of writing rather than just individual letters. So it might be a little overwhelming if you've never done it, but it's I don't know that I wouldn't say that number 1 is a prerequisite. It just means that if you didn't do number 1, the learning curve is going to be a little high if you're not comfortable with movement writing. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's still ink because I do the 7th shade, a long shade, and the exit shade, but the 6th shade disappears. I don't get it. That's so weird. Darn it. Lost my entry stroke on that one. I don't know if we're gonna get it today, folks. What? Now we lost the first shade. What is happening? Something is amiss. It was the 7th one that time. I'm planning on well, that's I want to get a really good one and send it to him, but I won't. I'm gonna wait because I will try to get a better one. I'll probably try to film one for Thursday and film it in slow motion for Mike on smoother paper, I think. Well, that wasn't a big enough oval. That could have been a really nice, like, 4. You can join 2 if you didn't take 1, Hody. It's just we don't review, or I'm not going to be basically teaching the forms like I did in number 1. So just know that. We'll still do the movement and everything will be by with the metronome and all that kind of stuff, but we just won't be going over the alphabet like we did in number 1. No, I quit. I give up. Well, that's... I don't want to say frustrating, because that's really hard, but the most annoying part is that there's some that were so good. Where's the best one is on the back of this sheet, I think. That it had the mist. It had a mist 6th shade, but it had the best ovals. I'm gonna keep working on this one. Not tonight. I'm done for the night. But that was quite a derailment of our comparing capitals. Next week we're gonna jump into P. We'll continue the alphabet and we won't get derailed, and we'll go through P, Q, R, S. Hopefully we'll get through those ones next week. T. I forgot my T, and it is, even though it was in insulation, it's cold. I can feel it, or it's cool now. Whoops. I'm gonna cut this live off before all of my lights shut off and the black light turns on, because I'll be honest, none of that stuff is set up right now. I mean, it's all gonna happen, but the black light isn't hanging where it should be and things like that. Not planning on doing black light tonight. I think I'm done for the evening. That was fun. Thank you, Oja Swinney and Fozzie for bringing the Mike Sol O challenge. I'm gonna have fun working on this one later this week. Aravind, my shirt. This is an alphabet I designed for John Neal Books. I do believe they still sell this shirt in black. It is just one of my alphabets that I made for them, made into a shirt. And they sell shirts. They used to have shirts, aprons, and other things. I don't know what they have it on anymore, but I do believe they still have shirts, I think. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me for this evening's late night O's. That's literally all we did today, was just O's from beginning to end for hours. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I will see you guys next week. Have a beautiful start of your new year. Oh, there's the lights. And on that note, bye, everybody.